All right, Khan, Shalom, Shalom. All praise to Yahweh, Shema, Mashab, Malaki, Yahweh Shai. All right, Shabbat Shalom to the 12th. This is Brother Yasharala with WFI Los Angeles. Through the spirit power, Yahweh, Shem, Hamashiach, Malaki, Yahweh Shai. All right, so I'm going to get straight into this, right? This is going into, as me and the brother, I believe the brother Ariel already did a video touching on the Charlie Kirk situation. So this is not so much more on that. It's kind of like a supplement video to that video. You understand? Because essentially freedom is dead. And this is shown every day, right? We being in this truth, we understand how freedom is not essentially freedom in the United States as we know it, right? As the world would know it, right? Because again, America's motto is the land of the free. You understand? America is supposed to be the land of the free, but we understand freedom is not free here. We understand freedom is not actually relevant. Freedom is not actually here presently in America. We understand that. The only freedom we have is the only liberty we have is through Hamashiach Yahweh Shai. That's the true liberty. You understand? So we're going to go through the precepts. We're going to try to figure that out because, again, if you're trying to seek liberty, if you're trying to seek freedom here in America, you're not going to find it. You're not going to find it. Just because you can drive to a different state, just because you can drive to a different city, doesn't essentially mean that you're free. Because a lot of, we talking to a lot of brothers and sisters in the world, they don't believe they're in captivity. They believe in their mind that they're free. But Esau is showing you how freedom is dead. Freedom is not here, right? Because Esau just took out guy, his own guy, Charlie Kirk, just took him out. And the shirt that he had on was freedom. It said freedom on his shirt. I'm gonna play a videos by I believe a Northern Kingdom brother that was breaking down how that was a sacrifice, and the elites wanted that to be televised live. You understand? Live for everybody to see that freedom is not alive. Freedom is dead, man. And see, when you come to the truth, you understand that you're not free. That's the first thing that we understand, that we are in slavery, and we have been in slavery since the time that and when I talk about we, I'm talking about namely the Southern Kingdom. Ever since we got over here, to the Americas, we have not been free. And then in terms of the Northern Kingdom, ever since that the so-called white man has came over here and enslaved the Northern Kingdom, we have not been free. So both on Southern Kingdom and Northern Kingdom, we have not been free at all. Right. So let's go to the book. So first, actually, before I kick that off, I'm gonna go to real quick. So lock it real quick. Let me show my window. So I'm gonna play this video real quick. Play this video. Lord willing, brothers can hear it. All right. And I'm gonna show you that. Right. I'm gonna show you this video through the spirit. Right. You can see it. Yeah. Okay. There we go.
Freedom on it in all capital letters. Airing his assassination live for millions to see is a form of mass subliminal programming us to accept that freedom is dead. This is because the subconscious mind is programmed not literally but through symbolism, and by combining this with the heightened emotions we feel from watching a death unfold in real time, this directive is deeply impressed into our subconscious minds. This is actually the main mechanism behind many magical rituals, such as those found in sigil magic. Whether intentional or not, the assassination of Charlie Kirk had the effect of ritually programming us to be more predisposed to easily relinquishing our freedoms. Follow me for more hidden knowledge. Charlie Kirk's death was a mass ritual. During his assassination, he wore a shirt with the word.
So as you can see here, I'm not sure what that brother is. I mean, he could be Edomite. I don't know. The point is that he's bringing out information to show that this, this killing was more or less not only an assassination, but was also a ritual to show that, guess what? Freedom is dead, in fact, because this guy who was a symbol of white America, right? He was a symbol of white America. He was a symbol of white America's freedom, essentially, right? To take back America, to make America great again. He was that guy. He was one of the top guys on the Republican side, the right side. You understand? And so by him literally being sniped in front of all these people, televised, with this shirt, freedom on it, it's showing you that freedom is dead. It's showing you that you can't say what you want to say. You can't say what you want to say. Oh yeah, the First Amendment, that's not real. You really can't say what you want. Especially us as Israelites, right? Especially us as so-called blacks, Hispanics, Native Americans. You cannot say what you want, right? Because if they kill Charlie Kirk, which is again, he's an Edomite, right? And he's saying what he wants to say. He's speaking his own mind, right? He doesn't care about being, canceled, more or less so-called canceled. He doesn't care about that. He's speaking his own mind, even if it triggers you or not, right? And again, he gets sniped in front of everybody. That's showing you. So the elites of these Edomites are showing you that freedom is not real, right? They're showing you that. Because if you want to speak your mind, because we're going to get the definition of the word freedom real quick. We're going to get the definition real quick through the spirit. And real quick to answer this question, what calendar do we use for the feast days? So since we're W5, we have our own calendar. I mean, it does align with HOIs most of the time, probably like 99% of the feast days that we keep align with HOIs. But we at W5, we use our own calendar according to what we have calculated and what the spirit of the Most High has given us. But we do keep it off of, we go from the new moon, right? So we keep, we count the days from there, the new moons and whatnot. So, but yeah, we have our own calendar in terms of like what days coincide to what days that we keep it. But yeah, right? And you can find that on various IG pages. W5 Watchmen for Israel. Just look up the Watchmen for Israel page. I believe on Instagram we have it there. All right, the calendar for the 2025. All right. So let me define the word freedom real quick, right? Because when you look up the word freedom, that's a deep word, man. It's a deep word. So let's go to here real quick. All right. Salakia. Let's see here. Okay, right? Okay, So right here, right? So it says freedom, the power. Salakia, it says the power. The first definition is the power or right to act, speak, or think as one wants without hindrance or restraint. So again, a lot of people would say that the America is a land of the free, that America is a symbolic place of freedom, but this is not true. Because if you truly have the power or right to act, speak, or want or think as one wants without hindrance or restraint, then Charlie Kirk wouldn't have got killed. You understand? And we know that was an assassination given by the elites. We know that was, man, right? And what does that show? It shows you that, hey, guess what? If you speak out of line, you're going to get murked, right? There's consequences coming, man. Why do you think that Paul got killed? Right? Paul wasn't hurting anybody. Paul was speaking his mind, and his mind was what? The mind of Yahweh, right? He was speaking the words of the Lord, and therefore he got killed. Like all the other apostles. Peter got crucified upside down. James was boiled alive. The other James, you understand, was killed by the sword. That's in the book of Acts, the 13th chapter. Right? So like Acts the 12th chapter, Salaki, Acts the 12th chapter. It said that James was killed by the sword, man. For what? For speaking the words of the Most High. So you truly do not have freedom here. Yeah, you have the First Amendment, you got the Second Amendment, Third Amendment, whatever. The right to bear arms, right? The right to the freedom of press. You understand? The freedom to say what you want. You know what I mean? It's a law that says that, well, basically, according to the amendment, that means you could flip off the police, you could say whatever to the police, and they have to allow that. But we know and understand that, and guess what? That's not really true. Those rights don't really apply to everybody like that. Hell, it don't even apply to certain Edomites, as we see. You see what I'm saying? Charlie Kirk was an Edomite. He still got murdered. So how much more the children of Israel? How much more the Jakes and Eves? How much more the blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans? You understand? From the time that we've been here, literally our people had to fight for the right to even walk certain places, to be in certain places. We couldn't even be in certain places, right? You had Jim Crow. You had the Jim Crow era. You understand? We couldn't even drink from the same water fountain as Edomites. You understand? And it's not about we want to do that. It's just that, hey, guess what? This land is not free as it says it is. You understand? And you can't even leave this country without checking in with Esau and paying a fee. You have to apply to get a passport. You got to put in your information, social security, this and that there. You got to apply. You got to go here, right? You got to fill out this paperwork. You understand? You got to take a photo, right? So you have to wait for them to make the passport and approve you so you can leave the country. So you can't even leave the country without paying money to Esau. And you can't even go through certain states without checking in, right? If you drive from Arizona to California, there's a, there you got to check in with them. Like, hey, look what you got, right? And where you going? Where you coming from? How long were you there? Right? Asking all these questions, man. I thought we were free. I thought I could go as I please, man. But this is not true, right? This is not true at all, right? Through the spirit. So let's go to the precepts real quick. So what is the true freedom, man? What's the true liberty? You understand? Let's go to the book of real quick. Let's go to the book of James, chapter 1, verse number 25. Right? I'm gonna kick it off with that. It says, but whoso looketh into the perfect law of liberty. So what's the perfect law of liberty? Again, the so-called white man does not uphold this. The perfect law of liberty. You see what I'm saying? The perfect law of liberty is the law of Hamashiach Yahushua. That's a law of liberty. Because with Yahushua came liberty. With Yahushua came grace and mercy. With Yahushua came what deliverance, you understand, from sin. And the deliverance from this world as well. Because when you're in the world, you're in slavery mentally. Not only are you in slavery physically, but you're in slavery mentally, right? What does that mean? You're in slavery to this you're in slavery to Edomite ideology. You understand? You wake up believing, guess what? I have to do this, X, Y, and Z. You wake up believing you have to celebrate July 4th or you get ostracized. You wake up believing that you must celebrate Thanksgiving, Christmas. You understand? You wake up believing these things that you have an obligation to do so. You wake up believing certain things that they tell us. Oh yeah, the planets, the moon, the stars, this and the third, right? It says, whoso looketh into the perfect law of liberty and continueth therein, he being not a forgetful hearer, but a doer of the work, this man shall be blessed in his deed. So the true liberty is through Yahushua. You understand? As long as we're as long as we're in America, we're going to be in captivity. We're not going to have any freedom. And though, yeah, we may be able to go out into the highways and byways and shake the hand and say this and the third to Esau, and he kind of get mad, but he can't really do nothing because the First Amendment. You understand? They kind of tell the police on us, hey, this guy was saying this, right? Kind of call 911 and say, hey, look, this guy was yelling at me and saying that he was threatening me. And the police come over there and they can't really do anything, man. Right? Because we're exercising our so-called First Amendment. Right? Yeah, okay, yeah, you may have that now, but that doesn't mean that it's going to be like that forever. It's going to come a time when Esau is going to crack down on this, man. He's already cracking down on it, right? Let's get that. Right? So this is the US bill to ban Israel boycotts faces. It's like a US bill to ban Israel boycotts faces right-wing backlash over free speech. See what I'm saying? So let's read this real quick. This is in May 5th, 2025, right? It says a bill in the United States Congress that aims to further penalize the boycotting of countries friendly to the U.S. is facing opposition from allies of President Trump over free speech concerns, passing its passage in jeopardy. You understand? So there was a law, it was a bill that basically says that, hey, guess what? If you boycott Israel, you're going to face penalty for that. So you can't speak out against Israel. You can't boycott Israel. You understand? If you speak out against, and again, we've seen that before too with Kanye West. We've seen that plenty of times. Anybody speaks out against Israel or says that they're Israelite or says that, hey, guess what? The blacks are the Israelites, the 12 tribes. You understand? Someone, especially if you're of major influence, right? You have millions of followers. Guess what? You're getting ostracized. You're getting banned, you're getting blocked, right? The whole thing with what's his name, right? Nick Cannon. The whole thing with Nick Cannon years back, right? He said something, right, about us being the real Israelites and whatnot. He spoke out against the Jewish man, and then what happened? He had to apologize on live TV. You know what I mean? He had to apologize, and then the Jewish rabbi sat him down and say, hey, look, and kind of you know gave him a whole lesson on why he shouldn't have done that, and the Jewish people, this and the whole breakdown of the Jewish people, man. That happened not too long ago. So we see, hey, guess what? Anyone of major influence, if you speak out against a certain group of people, you're going to face consequences. You're going to lose your license. You're going to lose whatever. You're going to lose your well-being. You understand? And what's the Bible talk about that? Right? What's the Bible say about cutting off a man's well-being? Right? Because there's people that have said certain things online or have said certain things, you know what I mean, and it's gone around and they lost their jobs. They've lost their income. And I'm not talking about these Edomites. We don't care about them. We're talking about the Jakes and the Eves that have said certain things that were true, and they've gotten ostracized, they've gotten blocked for it, they've gotten in trouble. Hey, there's even a time in which, our people couldn't even wear their hair, a certain way, going to school or going to work, right? They had to wear their hair a certain way. They couldn't even wear their natural hair, right? They couldn't wear it in dreads or something. They couldn't wear it at, you know what I mean? So we can't even express ourselves, our natural self, right? They would much rather have an Eve come into the office with a wig on, a damn blonde wig on, than for her to wear her natural hair, like an afro, for example. You understand? I believe that was a thing. You know what I mean? Yeah, Khan, as the brother said, brother Judah Money. Right, Khan, Shalom, Shalom, family. Hey, everybody is on the chat. Hey, like Judah Money said, so-called cancel culture through the spirit. Hey, the cancel culture spirit is very heavy in these last days. You understand? Because they're trying to shut up anybody that's speaking truth, right? So let me get that precept real quick about cutting off a man's well-being. Because again, there's times in which the brother said he got fired because the job found out that he was on the highways and hedges speaking the truth. So you mean to tell me the job is going to watch the YouTube and see what you're saying on YouTube, and then now they're going to fire you, right? Why should that matter? I thought we had freedom of speech, right? I thought we had the First Amendment. But clearly we don't, because if I say something and then the job finds out and they say, look, hey, we can't have you work here anymore. That's going against my so-called right. You understand the so-called right that we're supposed to have, that says that I can say anything. But we understand that's not true. That's not real. It's fake. You understand? And it doesn't apply to everyone. And it doesn't apply to everything either, right? Because if I say something like, hey, look, if I say something that fits their agenda, right? That hey, look, trans women are really women, right? Trans men are really men. This and a third. Nobody's going to bat an eye. Nobody's going to block me. Nobody's going to ostracize me, and I'm gonna lose my job for that. But if I say something like, "Hey, trans women are not real women," now everybody got a problem, right? Now I might get fired for that. I might get canceled for that. You understand? So let's go to the book of Sirach, chapter right. I believe it's the book of Sirach. Let's see here. Right. Right. The spirit's like him. Let me find this precept. Right. This book of Sirach, chapter 34, verse number 21. The bread of the needy is their life. He that defraudeth him, therefore thereof is a man of blood. He that taketh away his neighbor's living slayeth him, and he that defraudeth the labor of his hire is a blood shedder. You understand? So the Lord said, if you take away a man's well-being, if you take away a man's well-being, his income, you understand, that's like killing him. Because that man, he has to work. That man, he has to provide. Understand? So there's accounts of brothers saying they've literally gotten fired because they're either teaching the word at their job, and the boss found out or something, or the boss found out about them being a so-called Black Hebrew Israelite. Say, look, we don't stand for that, so you have to leave, right? Yeah, extermination letter. You know what I mean? Yeah, you're getting out. Yeah, it's like not extermination, termination, right? Termination letter. Yeah, you're getting out of here, right? Get out of here. So that's what we're dealing with. You understand? Freedom is dead, man. It's never been here. You understand? Especially for the Blacks, Hispanics, and Americans, especially for us. So Jake's saying that we free now because you can, or just because you can go into the same restaurant that Edomites go into, you're free, Jake. How are you free? Right? Didn't they just stomp out a brother in Idaho, right? Not too long ago. That was like what, the other day, right? A whole bunch of Edomites gained up and damn stomped out of Jake in Idaho. So clearly, Jake, you can't even go certain places without somebody questioning you or batting an eye at you, right? You understand? Jake can't even go certain places, man. Northern Kingdom can't go certain places. You understand? We are not truly free. And if you want to go into the specifics of how even the average so-called American is not free, there's plenty of reasons why. Plenty of reasons. First of all, economic disparity, right? Your work, a lot of people in America are paycheck to paycheck, man. Especially the Blacks, Hispanics, Native Americans. We're living paycheck to paycheck. So we have no economic freedom. You understand? How do I have economic freedom if my rent is 3,000? How is that economic freedom? My rent is 3,000, yeah, right? A month. And then food, right? Got to pay for that. You know what I mean? Clothes, water, whatever the case may be. Gas to get to work. You understand? The car note. So a lot of us, men, are in debt. You understand? We're paying off this, we're paying off that, car notes, you understand? For 7 years, 5 years, 4 years. You understand? Hey, living in apartments, right? And even if we do have a house, hey, a lot of us could be house poor. You understand? We have the house, but we ain't got nothing else, right? So we got to make for that. We got to make for that. You know what I mean? So, and even the money that we do have, a lot of our people, man, it's not circulating in our community. And the brother just brought it out. How long does money last in certain communities? So for the black community, it was like what? The number was so ridiculously low. It was like 6 minutes. So 6 minutes when 6 minutes it goes in, and then 6 minutes is already out. Right. So it comes in the community, and it's 6 minutes is already out the black community. Right. Why? Because we always spend our money with other nations, and that's part of the curses. You understand? That's part of the curses. And the curses tell you that you're not free. You understand? The curses even tell you that you're not free. Right? Let's get that precept. You understand? Even the curses tell you you're not free, man. Right? Let's go to the book of Deuteronomy, the 28th chapter. Right? Through the Spirit. So this book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28. Right? Let's see here. I want to get this book of Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse number 29. And thou shalt grope at noonday as the blind gropeth in darkness, and thou shalt not prosper in thy ways, and thou shalt be only oppressed and spoiled evermore, and no man shall save thee. You understand? So the Lord said, you're only going to be oppressed and spoiled evermore. So from the time that you enter into this place, America, from the time that you're delivered from Yahweh Shah, or so like by Yahweh Shah, to the time this damn nation is going to be destroyed, you're going to be oppressed and spoiled evermore. And that's what we see happening. You understand? That's what we see happening to our people. And much more so to the servants of the Most High. Because the Lord said that the judgment is going to start at the house of God. Right? It's going to start at the house of the Most High. So we understand that, hey, guess what? Let's go to the book of Revelation real quick. Right? The fifth seal is going to be opened. right? And you may ask, hey, what's the fifth seal? Right? Let's go to the book of Revelation, chapter 6, verse number 9. And it says, and when I opened the fifth seal, I saw under the altar the souls of them that were slain for the word of the Most High and for the testimony which they held. And they cried with a loud voice, saying, How long, O Lord, holy and true, doest thou not judge and avenge our blood over them that dwell the earth? It's like on them that dwell on the earth. It's like it's like that's a new video coming out through the Spirit interview. All right, where the elder sister came up and she was she knew the truth. And so when she came up like 2 years prior, and then this the second time of us seeing her, and she was more in tune with the faith, and she was giving her testimony as well about these Edomites, right? But going back to this book of Revelation chapter 6 verse number 9, again it says, I opened the fifth seal, I saw under the altar the souls of them that were slain for the word of the Most High, for the testimony which they held. Again, brothers have went into it. Kirk is a shadow of things to come. You understand? His death, his assassination was a shadow of things to come, right? Many men in Israel, many men in the faith, right, will have to suffer the same fate that he suffered, but for a different cause. See, he suffered it because he stepped out of line. You understand? With these Amalekites, he suffered it because it was a sacrifice. It was a ritual. You understand? It was assassination. Amalek said, "Hey, take him out because he's hey." Again, there was a accounts of him going against Amalek, a few days prior. You understand? There's a lot of videos of that. Him speaking out against them. So I'm led to believe that it was Amalek, but nevertheless, it's a shadow of things to come for the servants of the Most High, because the servants of the Most High are going to suffer the same fate. Some by as it says, some by the sword, right, which is the modern day gun. You understand? Some by and guess what? Whatever the case may be, the Lord talked about that, man. Right? The Lord said He had pleasure in the death of His saints, man. You understand? The martyrs. Right? Let's go to the book of Revelation. Right, chapter 2. This book of Revelation, chapter 2. Right, verse number 13. It says, "I know thy works, and where thou dwellest, even where Satan's seat is." So we dwelling in Satan's seat, man. Hey, guess what? St. Louis, that's Satan's seat. LA, that's Satan's seat. The Bay Area, that's Satan's seat, man. Right? New Orleans, that's Satan's seat. You understand? All of these cities, these wicked kingdoms, hey, guess what? Even America as a whole is Satan's seat. That's where he's at. That's where he dwells at most of the time. Right? It says, and thou holdest fast my name, and has not denied my faith, even in those days wherein Antipas was my faithful martyr, who was slain among you, where Satan dwelleth. Man. So show me how we free. If the Lord already talked about the saints being slain, you understand? The faithful martyrs. If you're a martyr just for speaking out against the wicked kingdom, you're not free for real, right? If you're getting ostracized and blocked and canceled, you understand the cancel culture for speaking the truth, you're not free. Yahweh Shah was slain for what? Right? And even Pontius Pilate said, I see no fault in this man. But his own people, Yahweh Shah's own people, the Jews said, hey, guess what? Crucify him, man. We don't have any king but Caesar. I don't know who this guy is, but that's not our king. Our king is Caesar, man. Right? That's how our people, not all of our people, but that's how the wicked, the 2/3 of our people operated in those days, man. And they're gonna operate in the same way. A lot of people, I'm led to believe, as the scripture says, a lot of our people are going to deliver brother up to what? To the governors. There's going to be a lot of coons as well in the last days that are going to take us and bring us to the so-called white man to be slain. You understand? The Bible talks about that, right? That's Matthew chapter 10. You understand? And various other precepts. Second Esdras. You understand? So hey man, we living in those times, man, where we see that freedom is not here. Freedom's not true, man. The land of the free is not the land of the free. Just because you can go in your car, you can go to In and Out at 1 o'clock in the morning. That's not being free. I should already be able to do that. What are you talking about? Right? Yahweh Shah gave us freedom, man. Right? We have freedom in the Lord. And we're not going to have true freedom until Yahweh Shah comes back and delivers us from this kingdom, man. Right? That's the only time we're really going to be free in the kingdom of heaven, right? And a brother said, thinking they're going to do the will of God by killing. Hey, that's a good precept. Let's bring that up, right? That's a good precept. This is the book of John, chapter 16, right? This is the book of John, chapter 16, verse number 1. These things have I spoken unto you, that ye should not be offended. They shall put you out of the synagogues, yea, the time cometh, that whosoever killeth you will think that he doeth God's service. And these things will they do unto you, because they have not known the Father nor me. Hey, that's a very good precept. You see what I'm saying? Because a lot of people in the last days are going to deliver us to be killed, because they thinking that they're doing the Most High service. They're thinking that they're doing the right thing. Yeah, get these false prophets over here. Hey, you think, hey, God logic, you don't think he's going to deliver us to death, man? You don't think he will deliver us to death? You understand? All these famous Christians out here, man, they will turn on us, man. You understand? They're already trying to disrupt the word of the Lord from coming out. So in a second, they'll deliver us to death, man. Right? To be slain. You know what I mean? Why? Because that's all prophecy. Because freedom is not free. You understand? Freedom is not here. Right? It's not here yet. Freedom is Yahweh Shah. Freedom is seeing Yahweh Shah come with the clouds of heaven, with the thousands of heaven, man, and deliver our people from the four corners of the earth. That's true freedom right there. True freedom is being able to be in the kingdom of heaven, having your servants, right? And being able to keep the commandments freely. You understand? That's true freedom. And that's not going to come until this world ends and a new one comes, right? Let's go to the book of Second Ezra, chapter 2. Oh, actually, let me get this real quick before I get that. Right, I'm just going to get a few more and I'm gonna close out, because again, this is not a long video, but this is just a reminder that guess what, Jake? You're not free. You have to pay taxes. You understand? You're in economic disparity. You understand? You got to go to work every day. If you don't go to work, you're not going to survive. Right? You have to make ends meet. You understand? Hey, guess what? Large corporations own all of the food. They own all of the water sources. They own all of the housing. You understand? Large corporations own everything. You think you have choice? There is no choice. You understand? There is no choice here. Hey, Pepsi owns all of this. Coca-Cola owns all of this, right? Certain brands own all this. You think it's a different brand? No, it's owned by the same brand right here, right? And there's multiple examples of that. When you just look it up, like how many corporations own, you know what I mean, this brand or this type of food. You understand? You thinking, you're going to the store, you think, oh, okay, yeah, you know, you got here, you got Doritos, you got Fritos, you understand? You got that, right? Okay, I'm not gonna mess with them, right? I'm not gonna mess with that brand. Not even knowing they're made by the same manufacturer. They're made by the same the same corporation. You understand? You don't have freedom, right? You don't have freedom, right? It says, yeah, exactly. Free Edom. Exactly. Free Edom. Right. Yeah, exactly, man. Only Esau is free here. We're not free here. Right, I'm gonna get a few more and I'm gonna close out because you gotta go to camp. Right. This is a book of Romans chapter 8, verse number 19. For the earnest expectation of the creature waited for the manifestation of the sons of God. For the creature was made subject to vanity, not willingly, but by reason of him who has subjected the same in hope. Because the creature itself also shall be delivered from the bondage of corruption. So we in the bondage of corruption, man. We in bondage, both physically and spiritually. How we spiritually in bondage? Because guess what? You spiritually caught by the chains of Satan, man. Our people are spiritually caught by the chains of Satan. You can't get them out of Christianity. You can't get them out of Islam. You can't get them out of these certain philosophies, man. It's impossible sometimes. How many of our people, man, don't want to serve the Most High, don't want to be free, made free in the Most High, and some think that they are free, but really is captive to their own sin. You understand? They say what? Delivered from the bondage of corruption into the glorious liberty of the children of the Most High. For we know that the whole creation groaneth. You see that? The whole creation is groaning, man. Right? Is this talking about Israel? Yeah, it's talking about Israel. But at the same time, it's talking about as we see the creatures of the earth. See what I'm saying? Even the creatures of the earth is groaning right now. Right? The cows is groaning. You know what I'm saying? The chickens are groaning, getting hit by steroids to make themselves bigger. You understand? The chickens are growing, groaning, you know what I mean? Hey, the trees, you understand? The whole earth is groaning right now, right? The fishes of the sea, you know, the certain animals and creatures, right? The bees, they're trying to say the bees, man. The bees almost extinct, right? You know what I mean? So we see the whole creation groaning right now. It says what? And travaileth in pain together until now, right? Until this day. That's what he's talking about. Until this day, right? So who's going to deliver? Oh yeah, as the brother said, the virus animals, man. Even now, even the goddamn, the bubonic plague on these damn animals now, man. Right? The damn Black Death is back, right? How'd that happen? How'd the Black Death just reappear out of nowhere? You know what I mean? So all of this, man, we're in bondage. Understand? The Lord said we're in bondage. Exodus chapter 20, right? That's that famous precept from the house of bondage. If this is modern day Egypt, if this is modern day Rome, if this is modern day, Greece, what were our people doing during those times when they were in slavery? It's like during those ancient kingdoms, they were in slavery, man. They were in captivity. They were participating in the ways of those ancient kingdoms as well. And some of them that were not directly in slavery were still in slavery spiritually because they were in slavery to their mind, right? Captive through their minds, captive through their ways, and captive through their spirits. You understand? Because they had the spirit of Babylon, they had the spirit of Egypt, they had the spirit, you understand, of Greece, of Rome, just like how our people have today. Again, you see God Logic crying on live, right? On a live, video, crying that this Edomite that hated Jake, that hated Eve, he hated Northern Kingdom. You understand? He hates it. He hates our people. But you have God Logic crying on camera. You understand? I mean, that's kind of a shame, right? A grown man crying on camera. And this is not for the mourning of your own people, right? This is not the again, we're not saying crying is bad because we know the prophets cried. Jeremiah cried over the destruction of his people. You understand? Hey, Yahweh Shah wept over the death of Lazarus. You understand? Isaiah cried for the destruction of his people. So we're not saying that's off, but what's off is you crying for this Edomite that hated our people. So we have to check. We have to understand where's your mind at. Where's the mind of our people at, man? You're crying over the death of this man that hated our people. Did Judas cry when Nicanor was killed, was slain? They rejoiced over his death. You understand? Our people rejoice over the death of these kings and these governors of these other nations, man. Right? Judas rejoiced over the death of Nicanor and his people. Right? Who else? Right? Hey, guess what? Our people rejoice over the death of Nebuchadnezzar. They rejoice over the death of Pharaoh and his people. You understand? They rejoice over the destruction of Egypt and all these other kingdoms. But now you have our people sorrowing over the death of the Edomite that hated our people, man. Right? So I'm gonna get probably like a closing precept through the spirit. Like I said, not too long. Just a reminder that guess what, man? Freedom is not what it seems. You have true freedom through Yahweh Shah. You understand? We're not going to be free until we are delivered from this wicked world, this wicked country, America, right? Babylon the Great, aka Babylon the Great. We're not going to be free until Yahweh Shah delivers us, man. Right? This is the book of Matthew, chapter 24, right? Let's go to the book of Matthew, chapter 24, verse number, let's see here. Matthew chapter 24, verse number 29. Immediately after the tribulation of those days, shall the sun be darkened, and the moon shall not give her light, and the stars shall fall from heaven, and the powers of the heaven shall be shaken. And then shall appear the sign of the Son of Man in heaven. And then shall all the tribes of the earth mourn, and they shall see the Son of Man coming in the clouds of heaven with power and great glory. And he shall send his angels with a great sound of a trumpet, and they shall gather together his elect from the four winds, from one end of heaven to the other. See what I'm saying? So that's when Israel will experience true freedom. When our world comes and this world ends. That's true freedom. You understand? Like I said, when you read the prophecies, it talks about every man under his fig tree. Right? So every man is going to be under his fig tree. And what does that symbolize? It symbolizes peace. It symbolizes prosperity. It symbolizes not being under the rule and under the wicked hand of the so-called white man of these other nations. That's true freedom. When the birds and the bees can finally come out and celebrate. When the whole world, the whole earth breaks into singing, like it says in the book of Isaiah, the 14th chapter. You understand? That's the true freedom right there. Not America. You understand? Not the United Kingdom. Not this world right now. We're not going to have true freedom. Just understand that. You don't have true freedom if you live paycheck to paycheck, man. You understand? You don't have true freedom when you can't even leave the country without a passport. You can't go into another state without checking in. Understand? Hey, every single year you have to register your vehicle. How is that free? I can't even drive my vehicle without checking in with so-called white man. You understand? You can't do anything without checking in with him because he's the top dog. But guess what? Who's going to be the top dog in the kingdom of heaven? The Israelites. That's the true freedom right there. You understand? And not only are you going to be free from the so-called white man, you're going to be free from sin finally. You understand? Because we free from sin now through Yahweh Shah by being delivered from the world. But at the same time, we're truly not free because again, even in this truth, we may sin. That's why we keep repenting every day. We repent to the Lord. You understand? But in the kingdom of heaven, the laws will be in our inward parts, and there shall be no more war. There shall be no more sin. There shall be no more death. Like it says in the book of 1 Corinthians chapter 15, it says, "O death, where is thy victory?" Right? Death is not going to have any victory nor any power over the children of Israel in those days anymore. So with that, all praise to Yahweh Ba'ashem, Hamashiach, Malak Yahweh Shah. Hey, there was a lot that I could have brought out, but hey, just keeping it short through the spirit. Might have to do a part 2 on that through the spirit, and check out the video that's coming out next Salakia tomorrow, right? Check out the video that's coming out tomorrow through the spirit, right? The brother said Salakia. Oh yeah, kind of right. So with that, all praise to Yahweh about Shema Mashak Abashai. Yeah, kind of as the brother said, you can't even homeschool your kids without checking in with exactly, man. You know what I mean? So like I think it's kind of lagging. Yeah, you can't even check in. You can't even you can't even homeschool your kids without checking in with Esau. Right? You know what I mean? So with that, all praise to Yahweh about Shema Mashak, Mama Laki Abashai. Hey, Kwam Yashala. Shalom. Oh, so okay. Yeah, and this string.